Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this lecture about H2H marketing, the genesis of human-to-human marketing. My name is Waldemar Farge. I'm from the CIM Business School at the University of Limassol in Cyprus, and I would like to give this Zoom talk to you to introduce to you the concept of H2H marketing. Well, the genesis of H2H marketing is very much related to my own development. And if you look at the time scale, which you see here from the 1980s to today, I have started my journey at the Free University in Berlin. Then I became assistant professor at the Technical University. And after this work, I joined UN. Actually, I joined UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development, and applied my knowledge, which I have gained in the 5 years of education. And then after 2 years in Sierra Leone, West Africa, I joined the industry. I joined a German conglomerate, Siemens, and I worked there for roughly 10 years in Germany and in the US. And then I ended up in the US and teaching at Kellogg, Graduate School of Management, which was a great experience. And out of that came an engagement with an American company in Germany, actually Arthur Andersen, and later the British company LAK. Both of them were consulting companies. So after working for 10 years in the industry, I worked for 10 years in consulting, and then I joined Pforzheim Business School at a University for Applied Science close to Stuttgart. In the time in between, I had the opportunity to go to China for 3 years. So I worked at the CEIBS in Shanghai, and I got very interesting experience. Then I joined the Cyprus International Institute of Management, which became now the University of Limassol. Actually, in September, we start our classes in business, finance, and technology, IT, in bachelor, and we have 11 master programs. So I'm welcoming you to look at the University of Limassol's offering and join us if you can. Well, this is my personal background. When you look at the phases I worked on, the first phase was the internationalization. I came from Germany, worked in Africa, moved to the US, and used this knowledge at the Kellogg Graduate School of Management. Then I identified various issues in the marketing of B2B companies and applied that in consulting and teaching. And now we are in the phase of H2H marketing, where we discovered that there is something more than B2B and more than B2C. There's also B2B2C, and now we think that everything is H2H, human to human. When you look at the three phases are characterized also by publications. Many publications, but 3 of them I would like to mention. They are all with Philip Kotler, which I met at Kellogg. The first one was the B2B brand management, which was a big issue in internationalization. And therefore, the 2006 book was very important for this kind of development. It was followed up by a B2B2C book, which is actually called Ingredient Branding, Making the Invisible Visible. And that book actually led to the insight that there is always a human in the transaction in B2B and in B2C. And therefore, we came up not only because of that, but under these circumstances, particular with the concept of H2H marketing. Before we go into the H2H marketing, I would like to address some philosophical basics which are important for human digital transformation and H2H marketing. And the basis is actually rooted in the Greek classic philosophy. So this philosophy is a basis of many things. And I would like to apply this knowledge also here because they are important pillars which characterize the situation we are living in if we follow the classic Greek philosophy. And Aristotle and Plato were some representatives of them. Their major principles were built on what is called ethics. So the classical philosophy has always been deeply concerned about these ethical issues. And data privacy, consent, algorithm bias, and equal distribution of technology are important in this. And therefore, not only the classical philosopher, but also the philosopher which build on that, like Kant, they emphasize the respect for the persons. And this kind of ethical behavior we take as a basis for all H2H activities. The second point is epistemology. That is the philosophical study of knowledge. So for any kind of H2H marketing, the epistemology is important. So the proliferation of information and misinformation, the validity and reliability of sources are absolutely necessary. And particularly with the impact of artificial intelligence, the understanding of truth is essential. Therefore, this is the second pillar. Third pillar is existentialism, because many things change when we apply H2H marketing in the nature of the work, in the society, in the way we do business. Therefore, the classical existentialists like Kierkegaard or Nietzsche or Sartre, which build on Aristotle and Plato, they are writing the basis for this kind of thinking. And we use that thinking also as a basis of ourselves. This fourth one is identity. With the changes in many things, also in technology, social media, virtual reality, digital avatars, our identities have become more complex and multifaceted. And therefore, philosophers like Hawke and Hume, they theorized about the personas. They all build on the classic Greek philosophy. And therefore, this identity antrum is important for all kinds of activities in the future. So for H2H marketing, we build on classic Greek philosophy with these four pillars: ethics, epistemology, existentialism, and identity. On the marketing side, we understand the philosophical principles, but we also would like to apply very important pillars for that. And the first important pillar of the new marketing is customer centricity. So the ethical focus on the respect of the person can translate into a customer-centric approach in any kind of digital and H2H marketing, where the respect of the customer data and the privacy is paramount. The next pillar of our marketing philosophy is the personalization. The understanding of the philosophy of identity can help marketers to create more personalized, engaging experiences by recognizing the multifaceted identity of the customer. So if you identify that and put that into your prioritization, personalization is the second pillar. The third pillar is authenticity. In the area of misinformation can be ramped up. The epistemological emphasis on truth and knowledge can guide marketeers to prioritize and authenticize and any transparency. So you need to be authentic in anything what you do in the marketing we are promoting. The third one is purpose-driven marketing. This purpose-driven marketing is built on the existentialism focus, and finding meaning and purpose can inspire marketeers to develop a campaign that resonates with consumers on a deeper level. All this is personalized with my co-author, Philip Kotler, and this kind of basic principles I would like to give to you today so you can actually build all your activities on this kind of pillars. Well, when you look at the marketing development over the last 60 years, many things was triggered by Philip Kotler. He established the marketing management till the 2000s. This basic principles and knowledge were gathered together in Philip Kotler's books, and there are 16 editions or 17 editions now. But since 2000, or actually to the 90s, many things changed. There was the marketing 1.0, so product-centric marketing. There was the customer-centric marketing 2.0. There was the human-centered marketing and 3.0, and the move from the traditional to the digital. And then now we are at the marketing 5.0. Phil Kotler has written a book about this marketing 5.0, where the technology for humanity provides marketeers with a way to integrate technological and business model innovation with a dramatic shift in consumer behavior that have happened in the last decade. So he built a principle, and this principle of marketing 5.0 is also basis of the H2H marketing. So we have the data-driven marketing today, where lots of information are gathered, put together, and give us the opportunity to provide a predictive marketing analysis and a predictive marketing thinking. That has to be embedded in the contextual marketing, where we are in the different contexts. And out of that, various options develop in that or in the other context. Well, augmented marketing is the consequences out of that, and then provides you the possibility to react to all the activities. And then the outcome is agile marketing. That agile marketing is the basis of everything what we're doing with marketing 5.0. This marketing 5.0 is now also integrated into the new human-to-human marketing. Here you see the model of the human-to-human marketing, where human-to-human marketing is an approach that emphasizes the importance of building authentic, meaningful connection with customers. It recognizes that marketing is ultimately about people connecting with other people rather than transactions between consumers and the company. So this kind of new concept is actually changing the world today. Many companies have used that, not all of them. Actually, the big companies which are using the H2H concept are not naming that they're using the H2H concept. In some areas, they're also diverting from it, but nevertheless, it makes them super powerful. So when we come back to our timeline and reiterating on the marketing management from the 60s to the 2000s, and the marketing 1.0 to 5.0, and then the integration into the new human-to-human marketing. So this integration happens in various phases, in various examples, but also it could be characterized in the publications in the world. So the marketing management gear is spearheaded by Philip Kotler and Kevin Keller, and the marketing 5.0 and the H2H marketing. So that all leads to the marketing's purpose always is to enhance people's lives and contribute to the common goods. So that is Philip Kotler's philosophy. So if you see that as a basis of all your new activities, I think you are on the right track. Nevertheless, you have to look and change all the time. So the question is, how do we get to the new marketing orientation? Well, we get to the new marketing orientation to innovations. And these innovations are driven by the concept, how you apply it. I mean, there are various other ways of applying and developing innovations. It could be technology driven, it could be solution driven, it could be many ways of thinking. The most important thing is it should be through human oriented innovation. So you should bring something what actually creates benefit for the people. So you have an innovation which is driven by a human problem. Of course, you can solve other problems with innovations and come up with other solutions, but this would not be the new marketing, the new H2H marketing. So addressing a human problem and coming up with an innovative solution is crucial for developing this kind of new concept. Well, there are many other aspects to be considered. One is, of course, the desirability, that people actually like it. It has to be viable, and of course, it has to be feasible. And if you look at this dissector of innovation, you also see this is a principle of the design thinking, which is a basic of all our activities in H2H marketing. The dissector of innovation can lead to many things, and you can use different methods. We recommend to use design thinking, and there's just one instrument which I would like to show to you today. There are many more, but if you have some time, please get deeper into the understanding of design thinking, because design thinking really tries to understand the human requirements. They like to observe, they like to define the point of view, how they look at it as an insider, as a user, as an outsider. And then, of course, you come up with kind of new ideas. You iterate, you prototype, you test, and you understand. That means you come up with a solution which may be suitable. If this solution is not suitable, is not completely suitable, you may go the course around. And since, as you can see, this is an endless circle, so that is an ongoing process. If you look at companies like Apple, they are doing this principle, they are applying that. We are now at iPhone 15. I mean, it's coming up in September, and that new innovation came up because certain aspects of the product features were not suitable, and therefore they iterated, came up, understood, and came up with a new solution. So Apple is using design thinking in many aspects of their activities, and why don't you do it in a similar way? Well, this is just one recommendation which you can obtain from this kind of lecture. The next important part of the H2H marketing is, and the new marketing orientation, is the service orientation. Well, we understand today that most of our activities are service oriented, but we need to know that most of the companies are coming from a goods dominant logic, where the goods are important. So you design a machine and you make the machine faster, less energy consuming, or whatever. But that goods dominant logic could come up with, let's say, the best machine, but this best machine may not be good for the people. Therefore, what we recommend that you look to a more individualized, to a more dematerialized solution, which comes up with a service which is dominant. So therefore, we're talking about a service dominant logic. So the logic, how you innovate, is based on the service orientation, not on the good orientation. You are producing a truck, not because you want to have the best truck. You're producing a truck that you can serve the customer best. And this kind of thinking, many things change. And many companies may not know that they got stuck in the goods dominant logic because they're thinking about tangibles. They're thinking about standardization. They focus on operant resources, countable resources. They look at output and not the important things at the customer side. When you look at the service orientation, you look at intangibles, how your machine, how your truck serves the requirement of the people. How can you individualize it? How can you adapt to the conditions? How can you focus on operant resources, on knowledge resources, yeah? And of course on processes and the thinking about the people. So if you put service orientation in the front of your activities, your business outcome is very different from the things what you would have done if you would have a good dominant logic. Well, many things have changed, and particularly the individualization is very important because the individualization is a result of the digital changes. Here I have a graph which shows what happened between 1990 and today. And in the early 90s, we had the mass market where we used advertisements and TV commercials to address the market. It's still done in certain areas, in certain markets, but most of the markets have changed and moved into target groups, so into large segments, mass segments. And these target groups are addressed through segmented approaches. Well, this is helpful, but it is not good enough because in today's world, with the digitalization, you can have actually the segment of one, which means you can have an individual offer. Well, an extreme example is Spotify. Many other digital services like Netflix, or even when you look at TikTok, you get the showings what are related to your behavior. Is it good? We can debate that, but if you are a company and you can target to the individual consumer, you actually enlarge our chances to be successful. Another important part of digitalization is the dematerialization, and the digitalization helps us to do that. Let me give you an example. I mean, I grew up in the 70s with the music of the Beatles and other ones, but I had to buy some LPs. Then in the 90s, you had some CDs, and today you stream. You may not even need a machine because the streaming service is available on your smart TV, on your smartphone, on anything else. So today we are living in a dematerialized world, and that dematerialized world becomes more and more important. Look at food. Of course, you go shopping and buy certain items, but when you look at the food services or the delivery services, with a touch on your smartphone, you can order the things what you actually really want. And in some cities, this is actually amazing. You actually can cook with fresh food. I have seen examples in Shanghai, New York, and Mumbai, where within 45 minutes, you can get fresh live fish, which you could then prepare by yourself. Well, that is the outcome of the dematerialization. Well, in the H2H marketing, where we put now all the things together, we have developed a theoretical framework, and that theoretical framework puts the design thinking on top of it, which says if you look for innovative solutions, use design thinking because it has a human-centered mindset. It is experimental, it drives an iterative innovation process, and the marketing what you have is based on deep customer insights. So you can have many innovation approaches, which or technology or methodologies, but the design thinking has the major emphasis on the human-centered mindset, and that mindset actually creates a new type of offerings for you. So apply this design thinking, and then your opportunities to be successful is actually very great. The next part is the service dominant logic usage. The conceptual foundation has the co-creation, and it has the importance of customer experience. And the third aspect of the new H2H marketing is the digitalization. This is actually the technical prerequisite. We are living in the world of a digitalization reality. That digitalization is here. I mentioned the dematerialization. There are many more aspects, but nevertheless, all these three things are the basis for our framework. So if you use this framework and build your company around that, you actually could be super successful. Well, the complete model of H2H marketing includes these three elements, but also says or stresses that we have the right mindset. As we mentioned before, in the design thinking, you have the human-centered mindset, but you need to have the human-centered mindset in your whole company approach. You also have to have a management system which puts the human into the forefront, and you need to have processes which makes the activities possible. Not an easy situation, because many traditional systems are hindering that. Companies who don't have legacy systems are maybe more suitable for that and more easy to adapt. But when you look at large old companies like Mercedes-Benz, changing to an H2H marketing approach is actually very tricky. Google has it built in. They don't call it like this, but all the activities they are doing are around that. Apple has it too, but other aspects of Apple may not be so suitable. One of them is that the shareholder approach is actually becoming more dominant than the stakeholder approach. So there are some companies who are actually doing this, what we are proposing, but actually walking away. So we need to remind these companies that H2H marketing can actually bring benefits to them and the society. Well, the new marketing instruments, which I would like to give to you today, are very useful because they're moving away from the old thinking. And one of the old thinking is the funnel. The funnel is very much thinking in goods dominant logic. Of course, it is still a useful tool and it helps company to go, but we are promoting a different model. We are actually promoting the customer path or customer journey, where you make people aware, similar as the funnel. You would like them to appeal, similar like the interest. You want to ask them, so this is the pre-form of the decision making, and then you do the decision making. And this is actually a very important part, which is very different from the funnel. We have the advocate part, which means the whole process can start again, or actually the advocate starts attracting other customer. So the customer path or customer journey model is way advanced of the funnel model. It may have some similar results and similar benefits, but we recommend this approach because you can also see the difference in the physical and in the digital world, and you can actually track what is happening on that path and which ways are doing in, and you look around. Actually, when you look at that, what you're seeing here is that at the end, this is an idealistic model. When you look more in detail, you even don't see that there's email marketing there. It's not used in this model, but you can add it. You can add other aspects, and you can actually add other elements of it. The most important part is that you get the activities up and make benefits out of them and come to a successful conclusion. Make the customer advocate your product, not only buying it. This is a big difference to the old service oriented, goods oriented thinking and the old funnel oriented methodology. Well, the most important part of this customer decision journey is that there is one aspect which we discovered during the form of the time of our writing of the book. There's actually what we call a loyalty loop. There's a jump from aware to act. And if you actually create this kind of reality, then you are inside. Well, Apple iPhone 15 is coming. I do have an iPhone, and if the advantages are great, if I'm aware of great features, I may buy it without long consideration. That is actually pretty helpful for the activities. So when we look at the development of the marketing mix over the years, you actually can see that the marketing mix has changed. And everybody knows the 4 Ps. Everybody knows that McCarthy has introduced the marketing mix. We also know that there are some other ones like 7 Ps. Then some people may understand that it was Lauterborn who introduced the 4 Cs. The 4 Cs are very much different from the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps are company-centric. So the company sets the price, the company sets the promotion. In the 4 Cs, there are the customer requirements. They are the cost for the customer and the convenience. And so the elements of the 4 Cs are actually customer-centric. In today's words, it's inbound marketing. And in today's words, the 4 Ps are outbound marketing. There have been many changes in between. Finally, we came up with the 5 Es, which is similar to the combination out of 4 Cs and 4 Ps, including the brand. The brand was neglected, actually was only part of the product P in the 4 Ps, and it was part of the convenience and requirements from the Cs, but today now we have built it in. So the 4 Ps are classic, and everybody knows it, and we still need it. But the clear message which we have to understand, this is outbound marketing, which means the company is setting all the 4 Ps, which is fine. And at certain points, it is necessary, particularly at the beginning. But in today's world, where the customer is actually more powerful, where the customer knows all the prices, where the customer has all possibilities for shopping, you need to do something different. Companies need to apply the new marketing, because that interruption marketing is not suitable anymore. It annoys people. Actually, when I look at my own behavior, I don't watch any movie where they are commercial interrupting the flow of the movie. I'm just stopping that. But of course, there are product placements which in the movies which I like. And if they're proper, it may help us to come to a much better conclusion. Well, I told you the 4 Cs are different. So they are moving away from the to the customer wants, to the convenience, to the communication, and to the cost. And this 4 Cs is actually clearly an inbound oriented one. So you look at the convenience of the customer, you communicate with them, you look at the wants, the customer wants, and you check what cost the customer has at various channels. And then, of course, you come up with a very different marketing. An inbound marketing, it may not be completely inbound, so it may be actually a mix of both, but you have a permission marketing, which creates a complete different relationship with the customer. And that is something really important. So in today's world, we have outbound and inbound marketing, and all together makes the new marketing. And that new marketing is mainly driven by content marketing. I will not go into this today. We can have an extra lecture on that issue, but content marketing is crucial for this new inbound outbound marketing. Well, with the new 5E framework, where outbound and inbound marketing is combined, you can actually exchange the knowledge. You learn from the customer and give information to the customer. You expand the value. So you have a value and you help the customer to expand. So if you're selling a machine, you continuously tell the customer how to use the machine and how to use the machine better. So expanding the value. The next one is to evolve the solution. So you come up with new solutions, which bring something else. You extend the channels. You have existing channels and you build more. And the channels of tomorrow will be very different from the one today. And then the final one, you promote the engagement of the brand. We have done brand management for the last 30 years in a high extent, and you can actually see when you look at the brand value of the most important companies of this world, their brand value increased because they know how to manage the brand. The result is the companies who don't manage their brands may not be seen at all. So with these 5 E's, you have a framework where you can do outbound marketing and you can do inbound marketing to create something new. So the combination out of outbound and inbound and the use of 5 E's puts your company in a complete new spot. You do something different. You do something like big companies are doing. Amazon, just to name another one, they are applying this concept continuously. Well, the new marketing orientation is clearly visible. And if you put this into a diagram of customer benefits and marketer benefits, customer benefits on the horizontal axis and your low and high on the direction of the axis. So you have some kind of wasteful marketing in the middle, at the left corner. You have some inane marketing where actually the marketeers, the customers have more benefit and the marketeers and have not a big benefit. I'll give you an example for that in a second. But also we have, and this is most of the marketing, what we have, an unethical marketing, where companies are taking advantage of the customers and don't give things to the customer. So we think something in between, that what we call H2H marketing is actually that what we are promoting. Let me give you some examples. Unethical marketing, well, this may have happened to you also. I'll give you one example. This is the wonderful Sofitel on the Athens airport, the only hotel at the airport. And the rooms start with 200 euros a night. So we are talking 5-star hotel, well, which is interesting. They have a pool and they have all the amenities of a 5-star. So they have a reason for having a high price, but they start at 200 euros. And if the availability is going down, the price is going up to 300. And if you need a room at 2 o'clock in the morning and there are maybe 2 rooms left, the prices are going up for 500. And by the way, the beers are at 9 euros or 10 euros. So, I mean, this is pretty stiff pricing. And if you don't have an option, you feel pretty bad. I can give you some other examples. During Corona, our friends from Heinz increased their prices by 53%. Can you imagine? Some other examples, Palmini Bolognese, butter. I mean, these are insane price. No reason for saying our energy costs are getting up. I mean, there has been no. So you can name me some other examples, but I think that is just enough because that makes me really angry. There's some inane or stupid marketing where some political decisions or even some corporate decision. I'll bring you the example of the so-called 9 euro ticket in Germany, where the German government decided that every person in Germany can drive for 9 euro on all trains in Germany for 1 month. Wow, right? That was great. So in June, July, August of 2022, you could have this great offer. The result was the trains were totally packed. It was too difficult to get in. Many trains had delays. They actually delayed the whole grid of the system, and even fast trains, which were not accessible with a Euro 9 ticket, were delayed by this kind of habit. So it was pretty stupid. Well, let me give you some real H2H examples. Patagonia, they offer quality for life. They had, for example, the advertisement, don't buy this jacket, telling the people, if you have a jacket, don't buy it. But if you need that, don't buy another one, because that jacket could be used for bicycling, for climbing, for walking, so you're not overusing the planet. They also have a worn wear recrafting offering, and they have the pledge to the people, please go surfing, which means having fun during work. And Patagonia is the example for having employees, customers, and suppliers. And now finally, the company was given to the world, to the earth, because the founder did not sell the company, he did not IPO the company, he gave it to a foundation, so it could not be sold anymore and can benefit of the rest of the time to the world. There's some more example. Tim's by Sirona, an American medical supply company who really looks at solutions which help people. I have another example, which is a small German company. It's called Elobau. They are environmentally friendly. They develop controls for machinery, agricultural machinery, and construction machinery. They are they offer sustainable solution. They are energy neutral. They have the highest customer satisfaction in the industry. They have the highest employee satisfaction. So a great example. I have one Indian example, and I'm not sure if you're aware of that. This is Liva, textile material, which branded itself and sells to the customer a product which is suitable to the climate conditions, where it is hot, it is fluid, it's fashionable, and actually it's natural cooling. Another example I have here is the Siemens company, which I worked for. So they are applying some of the concept and some of the activities. You may look into that if you read our case study collection. Novo Nordisk, a Danish company in the medical area who is environmentally friendly, economically vital and healthy for healthy communities. There are many, many more companies, Medtronic, just to name another one. What you need to do is you need to look what really the customer wants. And one of the findings of the recent years is the customer actually want sustainability and human orientation. And these are some interesting insights. These are insights from the US. And they were asked, that's a Nielsen analysis, is it extremely or very important for me that companies implement programs to improve the environment? And guys like myself, I'm a baby boomer, says, yes, it is. I say that too. And the Gen X, 66, and the millennials, 83. So you see, there's a big difference. Actually, the world average is 81%. But then the next question, do I change my habit? If you do something right, things are very different. It was only 30% for the baby boomers, only 50% for the Gen X, but the millennials are still sure about that. So the young people are really, really conscious about their activities. So the Nielsen findings is actually a very important finding, that when they promote the H2H concept, actually the market has seen that before. So sustainability in the post-COVID world and the emerging conscious shoppers. That is what Nielsen predicts for the future. And therefore, the future of marketing is the integration of sustainability into the H2H approach. So we have a direct impact of all our activities to customers, consumers, and employees. We have an indirect enabler impact on communities, investors, and of course also an indirect impact on NGOs, governments, and so on. And in the middle, if you put H2H marketing, our marketing includes sustainability. We also look at the bullseye principle, where the me is the important part, the human, but also it needs to look at family, community, nation, and all the planet. And the marketing we do should look at all these dimensions. And of course, they decrease concerns from inside out, but nevertheless, all should be in the focus of the effectiveness of H2H marketing. Well, if we look at the future, the development of a so-called resonance-based society, we come from an agriculture-based society, move to an industry-based society. We are now in the knowledge-based society, and maybe we reach the resonance-based society. And with the help of H2H marketing management, we can achieve that. I thank you very much, and would like to remind you we were 3 authors: Phil Kotler, Uwe Sponholz, and myself. We have published the book in 2020, and in a couple of weeks, there will be a case study collection. So thank you very much for listening, and I'm looking forward for your questions. Thank you very much.